What's happening, guys? Welcome to Slip the Jab Boxing. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into it. Dillian Whyte. Where is my guy, Dillian Whyte? Like, I have to be honest and say I'm a real Dillian Whyte fan. I mean, I no longer believe he's going to be heavyweight champion of the world. I did have that belief at one point. But even without that, I'm still a fan. I think his last fight was in March, about 5 months ago, against Christian Hamer in the fight that wasn't picked up by anybody. So I think there was only a few highlights on YouTube afterwards. Before that, he had Jermaine Franklin, and in between those two, he had his extra issues, let's just say, with getting popped and whatever else led on from that. Since his fight with Christian Hamer, which was his comeback fight after getting popped, there's been no talk at all about a next fight for him. No paper talk, no rumours. When every now and again I check a Dean White interview and you don't really see anything. You don't really hear anything concrete that shows, Dillian Whyte's got something coming. I'm finding this so confusing because Dillian Whyte always shows up to fight. I mean, I call him Sasuke. For those who've watched Naruto, all the Sasuke fights are bad. That's Dillian Whyte. Always shows up to fight. The best compliment you can give Dillian Whyte is, in terms of how he always shows up to fight, look at the Joseph Parker fight. Joseph Parker never has good fights. Usually they're stinkers. That was Joseph Parker's most exciting fight to actually watch with Dillian Whyte, because I just think his mentality is, I'm here to hurt people. I'm here to fight. So, it's always good to watch. It's always good entertainment. But right now, it just seems like he's nowhere to be seen. And I'm not sure why. When he was at his most popular, he was a free agent. Most of his work was done with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. But he was always a free agent, and that was the way he managed his career. He managed it quite well in terms of being a free agent, never having a title shot, but still getting pay-per-views, still headlining shows, still earning loads of money. I mean, that's a success in its own right at the end of the day. However, I do believe that this may have led to him maybe being blacklisted or something like that behind the scenes. I mean, I'm sure the majority of the boxing establishment is like a cartel behind the scenes. Everybody acts like they don't like each other and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to maybe showing a boxer who's boss, or basically showing who's in control, all promoters are happy to work together to freeze out a boxer or to show them why a promoter's needed. And I think the way that Dillian handled his career has maybe come back to bite him a little bit. I mean, I think it's something that should be applauded, trying, obviously backing yourself and being self-made or trying to be. But within boxing, I think this is frowned upon by the higher-ups. I mean, he's taken on Frank Warren before in the issues he's had with when he was on the lead up to the Tyson Fury fight. He challenges Eddie Hearn on a regular basis, makes derogatory statements about him and AJ quite often, although they do seem to get along quite well, but it does seem like sometimes Eddie Hearn tolerates Dillian Whyte because of the money they can make. And now it's looking like, with these Riyadh cards on the horizon, that he just doesn't feel like he needs Dillian Whyte anymore. He also called out Mauricio Solomon to his face in the lead up to his Tyson Fury fight. He put it on Mauricio about not enforcing his mandatory with Wilder. I think all things like this, they haven't helped him now. Where he is now, he's in a situation where he's a name, but because nobody really believes in him becoming the best, he's kind of in this no man's land where there isn't anybody backing him, there's no promoters behind him, but he still can get big fights. But as we saw with the Christian Hamer fight, if the boxing establishment decide to freeze you out, that's exactly what they'll do. Because I found it astounding that nobody picked up that fight. Nobody even picked it up just to show a replay or have it on their YouTube channel. This leads me to believe that Dillian Whyte doesn't really have much friends in the boxing establishment in higher places. I mean, the closest thing he probably has to a friend is Eddie Hearn, and as I said, It seems like Eddie Hearn more tolerates him than likes him. I mean, they've done good business together in the past, as they both said, but Eddie Hearn is always going to be Team AJ and Team Money. And as long as AJ is bringing in the money, that's where his attention will go. And as I said, he now has the Riyadh cards on top of that. So there's less of a need for Dillian Whyte. I think it's sad, really, because Dillian Whyte is someone that's dedicated himself to boxing and dedicated himself to basically making sure that we're always entertained. Like I said, his fights are always good. And before Riyadh cards, for me, Dillian Whyte's cards were the best cards. When he was headlining, his cards were always really, really good. I remember the card of the Joseph Parker fight that had Derek Chisora and, oh gosh, Carlos Takam on it. We first started to learn about Alan Babbage through Dillian Whyte undercards. So, you know, he makes an effort to make his undercards a lot better, you know? And all that does is increase interest in the sport at the end of the day. Good fights, great cards, that's what Dillian Whyte was known for. So it's really sad to see where he's kind of landed. I mean, he has options for a possible opponent. I mean, Joseph Parker still wants the rematch. He gave that call out not too long ago, which was quite funny. The Chisora fight's there. I mean, Chisora just beat Joe Joyce the other day. He's looking good. He wants 50 fights, so why not? Why not make that a trilogy? That there was some contention in both fights, although Dillian Whyte won the first one and the second one, for me, with no debate. There is some, you know, contention there. People have a few things to say. And then as well as that, an outside fight is Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie has left cruiserweight now. He's at bridgerweight. They've had a slight beef before. And, you know, it's a fight I wouldn't mind seeing at the end of the day. If Dillian Whyte's going to end up on an undercard, I don't think a Lawrence Okolie fight would be too bad. Or he could headline with Chisora or Parker. And there's other fights as well. I still wouldn't mind him seeing, wouldn't mind him fighting Daniel Dubois, or still seeing the Andy Ruiz fight if he gets himself in shape. Jarrell Miller, think about the build-up between him and Jarrell Miller. That would be absolutely great. I'd love to see that. That would be hilarious. So, you know, there's still space for Dillian Whyte. Hopefully we hear some news soon, because I think he's great for the division and the sport in general. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out more as time goes on. Guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I said? Are you guys Dillian Whyte fans? Do you think he should just be put in the bin now because his punch resistance isn't what it used to be? And as well as that, I think we can all agree he probably won't be heavyweight champion. So do you think there's no point in him now, or do you still think he has used to the division and the sport in general? Let me know what you think, guys. Right, take it easy.